Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 156 here at the Tavern, presented by HeroTaku.com. So let me first apologize to you guys. I've been feeling under the weather for the last couple of weeks, as has Trini. Neither of us have been feeling all that good, but now Trini's healthy. I'm feeling much better. Still got a little bit of a sore throat here. But it's about high time that I get back into doing podcasts with you guys, getting caught up on a lot of the news, and just, doing what we normally do. I know you guys have missed me, so I apologize for the long absence, but here we are. We're going to go ahead and talk about some Power Ranger movie stuff. And not too much really has been coming out, or at least things are not as interesting to me. I mean, I'm more interested in plot synopsis and actual trailers and footage and stuff like that. But we have been seeing some behind the scenes pictures of things like different sets that they're using, what appear to be either vehicles or weapons. They also have these little street signs that are actually named after Power Ranger cities, such as Ocean Bluff and Reefside, which I think is a great little Easter egg, and I'll be looking for those when the movie actually comes out. But just little things here and there, nothing to get too excited about, with the exception of the reveal of Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. So the image that you guys are seeing has been floating around multiple media outlets. The ones that don't even care about Power Rangers are covering it. And when the image first came out, I honestly didn't think too much about it because, as I said before, I don't really care about Elizabeth Banks. I don't find her to be a compelling actress. I mean, the only thing I really saw her in that I liked was in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. I thought she was good playing the secretary. I mean, that's really my extent of my knowledge of who this actress is. So when I heard she was cast, I was like, whatever. And I saw the outfit that they had for her, and I was kind of like, huh. And I want to talk to you guys about a couple of aspects of just the reveal of the image. Now, there have been other images that have been coming out showing on set. Looks like Rita will engage the Rangers directly. We've seen pictures of her new scepter and everything. There's been mixed reaction. Honestly, I've seen a lot of positive reaction to it, which is understandable here, but I think it's about time, now that I've actually sat down and I looked at it, I read what other people have said, I've seen criticisms and positives of it, I think it's time that I tell you guys what I think, throw my 2 cents in there. On what I think of the character and the redesign. And there are two main issues that I want to go ahead and focus on. And the first one is going to go ahead and be the overall design of the costume. Now, the thing is, when I first saw it, I'm like, I saw the image and I didn't know it was an image of Rita. I just saw the image. I'm like, who is this? It looks like some sort of lizard queen or something like that. And then I saw that it was Rita, and I'm like, that doesn't look like Rita. I mean, if you had shown me that image and you say, which Power Ranger villain is this? Or say, this woman is cosplaying as a Power Ranger villain, which villain would it be? I would have never guessed Rita Repulsa by the look that she had. Maybe Trakina, I would say she looks a little bit more like Trakina than she does Rita. But it's such a complete 180 from what we are traditionally used to. But the thing is, I really don't have a problem with the design that they're going with. And here's the thing. If this was a Zoo Ranger film, if this was a straight adaptation or reboot of Zoo Ranger, which means that, instead of Rita Repulsa, it's Witch Bandora, then I would have a significant problem with the redesign of this character. And the reason I would have it there is because Zoo Ranger has a definite, concrete backstory and visual aesthetic for who Bandora is. Okay, they know what they're trying to achieve in the visuals, with the character, the dialogue, everything. So when I would look at that image, I would not say that's Witch Bandora. You got it completely wrong, because it goes against everything that's established with Witch Bandora. But when we turn to Power Rangers, truth be told, there isn't really much in terms of Rita's backstory or anything that would have us kind of have her grounded to a specific design, if you guys know what I mean. Now, yes, it is the Witch Bandora footage that they're using, but honestly, when you look at the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it just seems more like a hodgepodge of ideas and designs as opposed to any flowing theme or design. I mean, obviously, it's some sort of, I guess, steampunk is the best term for it. Whatever that style is the Japanese use, where it's like it's 100 or 200 years ago in the past, and yet they still have telephones and cell phones and battle sky ships. I think that's steampunk. I don't know what it is. I never particularly like that style anyway. But that's kind of what Witch Bandora has. And it's visually the same thing Rita has, except there is nothing tying Rita to that. It's almost kind of like having, you know, it's like having a superhero whose origin is one way based, but when you adapt into another medium, you don't have that origin linking it down. It's sort of like, okay, kind of like Batman. Like, you have Batman, but if you don't know he's Bruce Wayne, you don't know his tragic backstory, if it's just a character, if it's just a guy who dresses up like a bat to fight crime, well, he can be kind of anything that you want, and the design can go multiple different ways. I mean, look at Thomas Wayne in the Flashpoint series, or look at the Terry McGinnis Batman. They're both Batman, but they have different origins and thus different designs, but they still have the bat motif. Now, Rita doesn't have a traditional witch motif. Even her hat, it's not even like a pointy, witch hat. And the singular point does have 2 points to it. And of course, she's completely missing a hat in this new redesign. But again, back to my original point here, and I know I'm kind of getting off topic again. It's been a while since I've done these. But it's kind of like the creators of the film obviously realized that because there is no solid mythology for Rita Repulsa, there was no need to stick to the original design of that character. And I'm okay with that. Because what do we know about Rita? Seriously, in the series, what do we know about Rita? We know that she's a sorceress, that she's been fighting Zordon for 10,000 years. She spent most of that time in a dumpster on a floating planetoid. It is not the moon. It is a planetoid. Okay, we'll talk about that at a later time. We know she has a loyal following. She's friends with Scorpina. She's versed in magic. She worked for Lord Zed. Her father's Master Vile. Her brother's Rito Revolta. We don't know who her mother is. That's pretty much the extent of what we know Rita as. A lot of the character became... I mean, we established this character just as an evil character, but by the time we got to the end of Power Rangers in Space, we've established who this character is. We've changed her into our own vision, opposite of what Witch Bandora was. So when I say, I don't have a problem with the redesign and taking the character that direction, is because we didn't establish any particular backstory to where she would dress that way. So here we are with a brand new character, a brand new universe, so we can design her any way we want. That being said, what a lot of people are speculating based on her appearance is that she may have ties to the Green Ranger powers. Now, one of the other things we do know about Rita in the Power Rangers universe, the primary universe, is that she did have access to the Green Power Coin and the Dragon Zord, the Dragon Dagger. All that was in her possession, obviously before she was imprisoned by Zordon. There are a lot of different stories on how she got the coins or how she got the Green Ranger coin, but the fact is she got the coin she has in her possession. So the predominant theory on the internet right now is that she's basically utilizing the Green Ranger powers as part of her power set. Now, there seems to be some sort of talk about how her backstory is tied into the Power Rangers. I don't know exactly what that means, and I'm really curious about that. I'm a little hesitant, but I am kind of curious because, again, Rita has no backstory connected with the Power Rangers other than Zordon himself. And when you look at the new Rita, I mean, is she going to be like somebody who was a friend of the teens that was turned into the Rita with the power coin and all that? Because I can totally see what they're doing with the power coin here. That she's got her witch powers, whatever and stuff, sorceress powers, and she's using the green power coin as her power source. And that could logically lead up to the fact where she loses it, still has her magic, and then uses the Green Ranger coin to make the new Green Ranger in whatever sequel, whether it's second, third, or eventual sequel that we're actually going to get in the series. Because I'm betting right now we're going to at least get 2 more sequels out of this. Anyway, and I'm fine with that too. If she wants to tie in, if they want to tie in her powers to the Green Ranger powers. And it makes sense because it is green and gold design. She does have kind of a reptilian kind of like look to her. I mean, again, we've established she has the Green Ranger power coin. For her to use as a power source and take on that motif, that makes perfect sense. I have no issue with that. I just want them to take it in a positive direction. If you're going to redesign Rita to look like this, then do something with it. And really, there isn't too much you have to do to make Rita a good villain, because honestly, she's a good villain in her own right, in the way that she did challenge the Rangers. If you did look at her personality, you could obviously say that she is petty, she is power hungry, and that's about as much as you can go ahead and say. I'm only hoping that when they do this, they don't do like an over the top kind of thing. I want to see a very articulate and well spoken Rita, which I know is against what we have, because that's I have a headache, ha 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 ha. That's pretty much what we think of Rita in the popular consciousness. Now, she obviously did change as the series went along, but I don't want Elizabeth Banks to go over the top with this character, because Barbara Goodson was told to give a Wicked Witch of the West type of, inflection to the character. But I think they need to deviate from that. They need to make this Rita a little bit more in-depth to make her a more viable threat to the Rangers. Now, again, they seem to be tying her backstory into the Rangers. I don't know, again, what that means, but what I'm hoping it ultimately means is that there is going to be some sort of personal conflict between her and the Rangers, that it's not... Because the thing is with Rita in the series is that the Rangers made it personal with her, in that she just wanted to take over the world. Zordon was her way. That was it. And then suddenly these teenagers get in the way. Well, I gotta stop them. But every time she does it, she keeps losing, to where she does become petty. That she wants to destroy Kimberly's float. That she's so mad at Kimberly and the other Rangers that she wants to get involved with their lives and just make it a living hell. Now, something you can do that with the new Rita, but it seems like they're going to establish that there is a personal connection and that they already hate each other before she becomes Rita, before she gets her powers. I don't know. Could go in any number of directions. We just don't have enough information to come up with a proper speculation. But that's pretty much what I have on the design. Again, because Rita has no particular... she doesn't have a particular backstory to warrant it enough. But honestly, if you look at the two side by side, it is kind of odd. I would like to have seen them take this, steampunk sorceress design and kind of modernize it. But again, here's something I'm probably going to get into a little bit later. I don't know why she just can't have the same costume as well. I mean, again, if you're going to redesign it, have a good reason to, and I'm sure they have a good reason for it, but why not just give her the old, popped up collar with the blue spikes, the two pointed hat, and the Madonna bra? Why can't we just have that? Why does it have to change? I guess would be my question. Why can't it just be a one-for-one translation on the design? Because the design of original Rita, that's perfectly fine. I have no issue with it whatsoever. And even when they went into the second, third season of Mighty Morphin and they gave her an actress, for the American footage, they kept the design. They kept the design all the way up to Power Rangers in Space. So the design is classic. It's iconic, I would argue. So I don't understand why they just wouldn't, keep the design. Why they really did feel the need to fully change into, again, the Reptilian Queen. And who knows, maybe this is an alternate form that she has. Maybe, again, if the Green Ranger powers is an indication that she'll lose, and maybe she'll go to a more traditional design later in the film or by the next film. You never know. Again, I'm fine with it, but I'm just curious why they would want to change the design, why they can't go with the original design. Because what I'm hearing, just on a side note here, what I'm hearing about a lot of Power Ranger fans saying is that they want new costumes that look like armor or pleather or whatever that's different than the spandex. To which I have to ask, what's wrong with the costumes the way they are? Why do we have to change the costumes? I get why they changed it for the first Power Rangers movie back in '95, but I don't see why we have to change it for this particular film. I say we stay with spandex, but that's just kind of my opinion on that, and that's a completely different topic altogether. Now, the second thing I really want to address, and this really hasn't been cropping up too much in Power Ranger circles, but I do think it's significant enough that I need to address it here. And that's that Elizabeth Banks, again, the new Rita, is not Japanese. Now, I've been hearing a lot of this since Scarlett Johansson was cast in that Ghost in the Shell movie, which, by the way, I have no idea about anything Ghost in the Shell. I don't follow anime. All I know is that everybody's upset that Scarlett Johansson is playing a character in the film that should be Japanese. And I have no particular opinion to really go into about Ghost in the Shell because I have nothing to say about that. On the other hand, I'm kind of divisive when it comes to Elizabeth Banks as Rhea Repulsa. First of all, would I love a Japanese actress in the role? Absolutely. I love Japanese women. I'm sorry, that's just kind of how it is. I think Asian women are beautiful. I think that any opportunity to get an Asian woman in a film to be an actress, to be a villain or supporting character, leading role, whatever, I'm all for it. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. And I love, hey, I love Fresh Off the Boat. That's a great show. The actress that plays the mother in that show, she is wonderful. She would make a good Rita. But the fact is, we have Rhea Repulsa as a white woman. Is that problematic? In the context of Power Rangers and what they've done through the history of the series, not particularly. Here's what I mean. Okay, so Miss Soga, who played Bandora, was the visual link that we had to Rita within the first season of Power Rangers, okay? It's a Japanese actress, and we're dubbing over her. But consider this. Barbara Goodson, who is the voice of Rita in the series Up in the Power Rangers in Space, is a white woman. So when the show first came out, they had a Japanese actress being dubbed by a white woman pretending to be the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay? Then when we got into the second season and she used the moon mud to make herself look younger, which again is just pretense for her getting a actress in there, the woman they cast is Carla Perez. Now, as far as I can tell, she's not Asian either. She's obviously of Hispanic descent. And she was Rita up until, Power Rangers in Space. Even when Rita, lost her powers and became good, we have a Spanish actress playing Rita. Then we have the Power Rangers movie. Julia Cortez was the role of Rhea Repulsa in that movie. Another actress of Hispanic descent. You kind of see a pattern here? Then we got to Power Rangers Mystic Force, where Miss Soga was the visual link there, and they decided, hey, we're going to make the Mystic Mother Rita because, and the woman they got to voice her, Susan Brady. I'm going to assume that she's a white woman. So what you're looking at here is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elizabeth Banks is going to be the 6th woman to portray Rita Repulsa. And only one of those women is Japanese. So, is it problematic? When you look at the history of Power Rangers, not really. Because Rita being Japanese is really incidental to this whole equation. That she was not designed as a Japanese character for the Power Rangers series, and frankly, she's not designed as a Japanese character for Zyuranger either, because it's Japan, 99.5% of the population is Japanese, so they didn't cast Bandora to be a Japanese sorceress, they just cast her to be a sorceress. And when we bring it over to the United States, it was always Rita the sorceress. She's not Japanese because, she's from outer space, and her father is Master Vile, and her brother is a skeleton, so I don't think Japanese people live in space. Until you get to Sentai and all that, but that's different. The fact that Rita is Japanese in Mighty Morphin is just incidental to the footage. There is no backstory, there is no history that links her with being Japanese. And again, throughout the course of this series, we have white women and Hispanic women portraying her either as her voice or as her body double in multiple productions. So, is it problematic? No, I think not. Should they have casted a Japanese actress? I think in the overall terms of Hollywood and just getting more diversity out there, I would say yes. Again, I don't know much about Elizabeth Banks. I don't know if she's going to be a good fit for this role, but honestly, I would like a Japanese actress to play Rita. I want a Japanese actress to play Scorpina. I want a Japanese actress, or at least an Asian actress, to play the new Trini. They didn't do that, and that's told. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm not going to say that they're whitewashing the character of Rita Repulsa when being Japanese is not her character, is not intended to be her character. Are they whitewashing with Ghost in the Shell? Maybe. Are they whitewashing with other Hollywood features? Absolutely. It's a very sticky subject in there, but I think it comes down to the context. If this was a Zoo Ranger film being adapted to an American audience, absolutely, I think you should have a Japanese actress. The cast should be all Japanese because you're taking a Japanese product, bringing it over to America, and I don't think putting white people in the roles of that is necessarily a good idea. But we're not doing a Zoo Ranger adaptation. We're doing an adaptation of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So we're already a step removed from the original Japanese source. And so I think it's perfectly fine to put a white woman in there, but again, I would prefer Japanese because, well, that's just my affinity. And again, Power Rangers has shown that they don't particularly care about it. And again, they're still putting in diversity when they had Rita being portrayed by Hispanic women in the original movie and the series. And Elizabeth Banks may be good and all that. We'll see. It's going to be a crapshoot on what's going to happen. I'm just more curious than anything else on what's going to happen. But I will say this. I do believe that if Scorpina is to appear in this film, which I don't think she will, or if Scorpina will appear in a later film, I would certainly like to see a Japanese actress play Scorpina. Again, she has no particular history tied into being Japanese, but that's just a personal preference. And heck, why not add more diversity? Heck, you can make her a black woman, and I'd still be perfectly fine with that, because again, we have a little bit of diversity in that. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say about the new Rita. And that's what I'm going to call her for a while, is the new Rita. We'll see where the design takes us. We'll see where the casting takes us. We'll see just how she fits into cinematic villains. Because, here's the ultimate thing about Power Rangers, is that Power Rangers has great villains. They really do. But they're not Loki. They're not Heath Ledger's Joker. They're not Hannibal Lecter. They're not Mr. Potter. They're not any of the cinematic villains that we all remember today. I'm hoping that Rita or one of the other villains will become a cinematic villain that people will be talking about decades from now. So let's hope for that. That's what I hope for more than anything else. Design her any way you want, as long as she's a compelling and great villain. That's all I really want. Okay, so I think I've talked to you guys enough on this matter. What do you guys think? What do you think of the design? Do you think the Green Ranger power theory holds any water? And do you believe that they are whitewashing the character just for the sake of getting a white actress in there? What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Let me know. And I will see you guys relatively soon for the next installment of the Onyx Tavern. And until then, the tavern is now closed.